price has met a critical resistance and it looks like momentum is still suggesting an upside continuation. Our proprietary algorithms are displaying strength to the market, and this could be further validation for an upside continuation. We're also getting indications for a historical volatility setup. Welcome back to the channel on this happy Monday. This is ARCa, and let's dive into ticker symbol ASRE. Let's kill them. What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Let's go ahead and dive in to ticker symbol ASRE, and we're going to go ahead and start this off with a very magical indicator called ARMOR, right? So this ARMOR indicator is the reason why we're able to get buy and sell signals, long and short signals in the market. Very popular indicator, and I will have to point out that this has shown us some critical signals for an upside. And okay, for example, this one here, check this out. We got a long signal down here for this, and it actually got us a short signal all the way at the top over here in the 4-hour time frame. Huge upside on this, right? Next signal, as it repaired, we got another long signal here, got a short signal down here, so we ended up getting another bounce to the upside, and yet another one over here, and some other short-term time frames as well, right, team? This one in particular did take it to a further upside, and I will like to point this out. We have a long signal printed right down here that came in at about when we were speaking about this loading zone here. Very curious. Check this out. We were talking about this loading zone here a few days ago at 28.52 to 29, right? We got that bounce from price action right within there, the long signal printed here, and it still has not given us a short signal just yet. Very, very powerful times here, team, as I am seeing a potential increase to the upside here algorithmically through our algos, right? So please make sure to get in touch with me at arqindicators@gmail.com to get your subscription ready for this and 8 other algorithms. And the next one we're going to observe is yet again another one over here, right? So this one in particular, I'm just going to move the averages out of the way, but it's this one right over here. So this is called this is actually called a trend line, right? So I don't have the trend lines located in here right now. What I am doing is using this as a pivot locator, right? So I mean, you can set the settings in any which way that you want, right? So yeah, in this case, I am using it for a pivot locator just to tell me where the pivot highs were or where the pivot lows were, so that it can give you a retracement or a reversal type of indication, right? So please notice here that the colors, yes, it's green here, yellowish, orange, red. That's because the MACD momentum is actually implemented within the price action. So the algorithm is giving you momentum within the colors of the price action, and it's also telling you when the bottoms and the tops are located, right? So in this case, hourly time frame, immediate short-term time frame signaled a pivot low right down here, and as you can see, we still have not had a pivot high printed just yet. So this is still indicating a continuation to the upside, right? So incredible strength to the market. One more thing that we could note here is that yes, we do have a long-standing regression right here, and we have broken out of that regression, and now we have come back to test it, and we are continuing on to the upside. We're going to continue validating these things as we move on nonetheless, right? So I just wanted to go ahead and kind of mention that thing to you there, that we are still looking pretty damn good. Okay, now if we move on here, I can definitely see some danger to the market coming up, and I don't know if we're gonna, oh right, yep, I can definitely see why price action is kind of sitting there. So let's move on to the next chart, because I think I do have it listed there. There we go, and yes, I definitely do. Okay, so this is the reason why we're actually presented with this resistance right now, right? So you're looking at now 16 hours and 1 minute to close this buy daily candle, and it would be very important for this buy daily candle to close upside and clean outside of this channel right here, which is the conversion of the resistance from the channel into support. This would be the first positive closure with a retest of that support bounce, and then this could continue onto the upside potentially on the next candle, right? So maybe seeing a massive upside continuation. I mean, it can happen tomorrow, right? I'm just saying that at tomorrow's close, we would likely see the buy daily candle close, and then on the following day we'll see the reaction based upon that close, because this is actually shifting momentum towards the upside ever so slightly here, team. And seeing that we did get this huge thrust to the upside over the last 4 days, yeah, things are starting to look incredibly powerful for the asset. And this right here, the range of 3501 to 3702, is this small gap right in here, right? So let me zoom into it so that you can see. Right, this gap right over here, that is the reason that now this little yellow, the little neon green line, that is currently where price is, 34.79, right? So that is the reason why we're experiencing some resistance here. It's no problem, right? We just got to get over this right here and start closing some daily closures upside of 37.01, and then we will be all good. Okay, so let's well, it is important for us to observe historical volatility and previous gaps, all that kind of stuff, right? So I mean, that's why I was noticing back here that I did have that gap there. I started zooming out. I'm like, wow, my goodness. But yeah, that's definitely something that the master students are being taught, and a 16-week mentorship, right? So let's go ahead and now move on to the next idea here, because I do have something to display to you. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of. This is what we use to bounce from that 25-cent zone, and also from the area of 2403, right? So this is how we got our potential entries, right? So good job, and congratulations to you if you definitely caught that, right? We're looking really good. All of our plays are playing out pretty damn nice, even in the live streams in the morning, right? So let's just go ahead and get rid of this now, since we don't need it anymore. We're going to gather a price objective, and that is done by taking a trend line from the top side of the formation, right, all the way to the bottom side. Now we take that trend line and we apply it to the area of breakout. Let's suppose that it was this candle that we're on right now, right? So in this case, we're being led to a resistance of 50.39. Now 50.39, of course, has its, oh yeah, nice. It's very confluent to this 50.93 right down here. Huge resistance right there, right? And oh man, it is very consistent here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and draw that in there, because there is a lot of rhyming there. All of these births, right? All of those candle births, and even the top side of this red one here, the bottom side of this green one, the top side of this red one right over here, all of these right here, right? That's all incredibly pertinent to the price action, right? So let's go ahead and take that into heavy consideration here. And then take this to the next resistance, which was the two candles that we noticed right up here. So let me see now if we can adjust that to favor something else that has more consistency. Actually, no, it would be this. This definitely has way more consistency. Okay, so let me go ahead and jot that down just like this here, right? So you're looking at 49.91 to 50.99, and you definitely have a focus right at this target here, which is a psychological take profit from the target of the channel, right? The descending channel. So that would give us the focus of 50.39. So let's just go ahead and draw that in and have that located right there for us. For our convenience, 50.38 is okay. Okay, so there we go. Now we have our targets listed and ready here for us, right? So now, of course, we can face resistances on the way up. Right, team? I mean, this area here in particular, right, around 39.57 to 47. Even 38.02 is showing some. 38.97. Yeah. There's a lot of areas where we're going to be facing some potential pullbacks, right? So I say this because as soon as we break out of this channel here, outside of this resistance, we would face a resistance somewhere. I don't know, maybe 38 to 39, maybe 40 cents. We would come back and then start validating this area here into a support, since it is a resistance break, right? We would come back, validate it, continue. So zigzagging around here, but essentially the upside is still pertinent. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move on to the next chart here and identify what that next top side could be based on the 3-day Bollinger Bands here, and that's displaying a top side of around 43.96. Okay, so that's looking okay, and this is set to a standard two standard deviation multiplier from the mean, right? So 2 standard deviations from this 34 cents is located right at about 44.04. But here are the statistics. Now, team, let's go ahead and talk about these right now, because this is the signal that is pretty much firing for a really powerful upside. Okay, so this is the 5-day critical expansion to contraction volatility backtest, right? So let's see, critical contraction. Sorry, we're coming out from contraction, so this is definitely something that we're gonna have to correct, right? So we'll do contraction there, and this will be the expansion, right? So EXP, and there you go. All right, so anytime that volatility has contracted into the critical zone, which is 15%, or within the 15th percentile, and started an expansion phase paired with an upside on stochastic momentum, I have taken note of that very criteria throughout the entire trading history of the asset on this time frame, 5-day. So you can see here that these are all my sample sets, right? So now from those sample sets, we came up with this data set right over here. So 7 out of 7 iterations have been guessed correctly to the upside, giving us a 100% probability with an average upside thrust of 435.88%, right? So that 435.88% actually fired off right down here for the first time, and we got the upside here, meaning not all the way to the 435%, which would have been 50 cents. We actually got a 380% move to the upside from that 435 to 45.63. So very, very impressive from the firing of that signal. So you can see here that we were then starting to expand beyond the 15th percentile. We were actually getting that upside momentum right then and there too. And I would like for you to notice here that we touched the 15th percentile and we're starting to expand here. And I want to give you the bias here because, yes, although this still looks to the downside, let's give it a quick little push and find out if we can get an early indication from it. So let's go ahead and do D% on a 1-period read, meaning on a 1-day close look back with a smoothing factor of 1, and check that out. What are you seeing right here? We're already getting an early indication that the 5-day stochastic momentum is located within the bullish control zone and with an upside pivot. That is incredibly exciting and definitely something for us to be looking forward to, as it is already getting us those early indications for a continuation to the upside. That means, team, that the signaling of the fire could be soon, right? As soon as we start getting more volatility here, this is going to expand, and this is going to be over in 1 day and 16 hours. Very likely in 1 day and 16 hours, this thing is going to shift to the upside based on all this price action that we're getting, right? So by then we could already be sitting at around 40 cents, right? So now here's the little trick to the trade. As soon as this signal fires from that price, we can start indicating the 435.88% to the upside. So let me just go ahead and kind of note it here as a 435. Let me see. I guess as close as I can get. 436.12 is fine, right? So let's just say that we were already sitting at around 40 cents when this thing fires off, right? So from 40 cents, that would indicate a top side of $2.17, right? So huge upside. Now the thing here is that I also calculated the standard deviation move from this mean. That's 875.17% with an upper bound of the first standard deviation of 1311.05%, and that is based on the upper bound of the first standard deviation, right? So now the 435.88%, that's 68% of the results, and that is 875.17, that's at 68% of the results. Those are your standard performers, right? So I'm just saying, right, that there could be some massive upside. Let's take into consideration the standard deviation move from around 40 cents. I can't say that it's going to fire for sure at 40 cents, but we could speculate it, right? So this one here, I had it at 40.50, and this one here, let me go ahead and drop it a little more right there. Here we go. That 40.69 is fine. So that would be suggesting a topside target of around $3.96, and you can see right here that at $3.65, we have the 3.618 golden mean. So that is already looking pretty good. Not to mention the fact that on this target here of $2.17, we have the 3.272 at 256. So that is naturally giving us some type of a range here, right? So we could literally do it just like this here, right? And we can see our areas of resistance as we come up, Right now, the massive banger out here would be the upper bound of the first standard deviation at a 1,311% move to the upside. So let's speculate here, right? We add that to that point of around 40 cents, what we were talking about. Just, I mean, very consistent to the other ones too, right? We want to maintain consistency here. So I think that's cool. 40.67 is all good. That is indicating a price of $5.64. Massive times here, team. So we shall see how that happens, but I will like to point out that the top side of this candle right over here, the high is $6.19, and this is already suggesting $5.74. So you can already see that there is a lot of rhyming from here to here. It's a very short distance away, right, to this trend line right here. So that, statistically speaking, we could be setting this up within the next day or upon the closure of the 5-day time frame, not tomorrow, but the following day, right? And then the day after that is going to be the day when we actually see the effects for ASRE. So ASRE is looking massively powerful, team, and I do expect this to continue on to the upside even still. I don't even know how to tell it to you, but this is incredibly powerful. And now seeing the 12-hour time frame, huge bullish drive of hit. This is a regular drive of consistent of regular bullish divergence printed with still an upside continuation at play, right? So now looking at the 30-minute time frame, it looks like 30-minute time frame is looking like it could get an upside continuation here before a pullback that could be consistent. Let me make sure to bring this back here. That could be consistent with our resistance that we're observing right over here, right? So that could be a touch of the 3702 potentially get a pullback here. So immediate short-term pullback, rise and then pullback to validate the 3505 or where we're sitting right now at 3479 as an area of support before continuing on to the upside. And that would be very short-lived because, as you can see here, the 4-hour time frame, this is the 8-hour time frame, this is the 12-hour time frame, and this is the daily time frame. They're all kind of pivoted towards the upside without any resistance in the way. This being the SMA 14 resistance, right? So your RSI setup it's a typical thing. What kind of reflects price action is your signal line from the RSI, right? And what reflects a moving average is your simple moving average 14 period right above here in the pink line. So that naturally could serve as an area of resistance for us to pull back. Right. But that's really immediate short term here. Right. And like I said, right, everything else is just already pivoted towards the upside. Going into the daily, going into the 12-hour, this feels like it has a little bit of a pullback to go. But all of this consolidation, this sideways trading, look at all the top time frames. They're all kind of sideways. Right. That is telling me that we could have a consolidation period in these top time frames, which is what they're doing, so that the shorter time frames can indicate or really mitigate the direction of the asset. Okay, team, so now you know the targets, you know the upsides and downsides. So go ahead and get in touch with me if you do have any questions whatsoever. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Never. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good rest of your night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.